Well, looks like she's not getting the full dozen roses this year. Nope, you're going to have to clear 6 out because you can't afford them. She's getting the half dozen roses. But then again, who are we kidding? You don't have a Valentine. You never had your car. So for the first time since late November 27th, our winning streak is in jeopardy. 10 straight winning weeks. And go ahead, IRS auditors, go back, count all of it. I'm just going to laugh after you actually spend the time to do it and realize, like, oh, he wasn't lying. 10 straight winning weeks. That is in jeopardy unless I pull off Wednesday win, Thursday win, Friday win. But I'm up for the challenge. Tuesday, it was not as bad as Monday. Monday, nightmare. Tuesday, an uneasy sleep. We didn't miss everything. We got the McKinnon shots, the under in the Carolina game, and most importantly, and the reason you guys will never leave this channel, we sniffed out the appropriate ruckus game. Tons of player points in that Ottawa game. We nailed the plus 450. But the Islanders, they laid an egg, surprisingly. Thought they were going to have juice in that game. Did come down to a shootout. And then the Kings, I will just say this. Anybody who bet on the Bruins last night, would you trade places with the guy who bet on the Kings? Your answer better be yes, because I call the Kings game a no-sweat bet. You knew it was over. You got to go on with your night. Maybe you even got to watch your favorite show. But those Boston bettors, to be down 2-0, this crazy game going back and forth, you finally get it back just to lose. You lost a couple weeks of your life. Forget about not having a car. You're not going to have your life enduring more like that. So the good thing, when you take a beating, it's a no-sweat bet, and it's on to the next one. So it is on to Wednesday night, Valentine's Day. Are you guys going out? Or are you staying in on Valentine's Day to watch the Winnipeg Jets and the San Jose Sharks? That's what you're going to be doing, isn't it? It's all right. There are many worse things you could be doing on Valentine's Day, like going out to a restaurant with someone where they just change out the old menu. They give you a menu with fewer options that's more expensive. Why? I don't know, because it's Valentine's Day and it's just a holiday that you can milk people on, just like New Year's Eve. If you got a cool girl, not you order food, you buy food to cook. That's what I'm going to be doing. I got some big steaks. We're going to be cooking them. And who knows? If you have someone cool, they will let you watch the Winnipeg Jets and the San Jose Sharks. But even I don't want to watch that one because we don't even have some of those good Sharks that are in it. You want to start with that one? San Jose Sharks going to play Winnipeg. We know the Sharks are bad. But now you remove Tomas Hertl, who's out long term, and Logan Couture from this game. Who's out there? Winnipeg's been holding everybody to 2 or fewer in their own home building. Well, we don't even have that option because the team total for San Jose is set to 1.5. And as tempting as it may be, I'm not going to be doing that. So what I'm going to be doing is something that I would be doing even if they weren't playing the Jets. You remember how I told you I bet against Logan Couture every single game after he came back? You missed time. I generally like to bet against you in that first game. The odds of you being your best in that first game after missing some time and having a ton of ice time is somewhat minimal. Once they get back to normal, I won't do that. But in the beginning, I like to try to cash in on no points for certain players. Then we were talking about the San Jose Sharks in Winnipeg, a team who, they just held the Penguins. And I know this Penguins offense isn't the Penguins offense that's expected or of old, but still another team held to 2 or fewer in Winnipeg. And I'm seeing Michael Granlund coming back into this lineup. If I was setting prices on point props, there's not a damn under that I'm listing anywhere close to even. Granlund's going to be set around minus 105 or something like that. In Winnipeg, I wouldn't want to bet on Sebastian Aho to register a point up there. That's how stingy they are. So you're giving me a guy in his first game back up there at a good price, and he's on the Sharks? Yeah, I'll be taking that one. Give me the under 0.5 point for Michael Granlund. Yeah, top line, top power play. Oh yeah, who else is he with? Yeah, another team that's a third line and second power play. So I will take my chances. So I'll take the under there. And then on the other side of the puck, I will use a little trickle-down snakeonomics. Last game, they moved Nikolai Ehlers up to the top line, and he played with Scheifele and Kyle Connor. So what happened? He assisted on a Scheifele goal. He's up there, unfortunately not on the top power play, but he is on the second power play. But if you're playing with Connor and Scheifele, a stacked top line against a Sharks team, a depleted Sharks team, there should be plenty of opportunities there. And there haven't been enough games yet. Usually 3 games in a row, the sportsbook's adjusting that price. You're going to leave it at minus 125? All right, I'll be taking the over on Nikolai Ehlers to register a point. So that's what I like in that game there. Yeah, we're not minus 800 or whatever the hell it is to take Winnipeg. We're not looking at any of that. And then after there, we're going to go to the team who Winnipeg just beat. We're going to Pittsburgh, where they're hosting the Florida Panthers. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did they not just play in Florida like 2 weeks ago? Florida was up 2-1 in the third. Maybe Pittsburgh tied it with the empty net, and then Florida won it in overtime. I don't see this one being all too dissimilar, because when I tell you that the Florida Panthers are playing some of the most vicious, like, it's not just good defense. I've mentioned teams like, oh, they're playing very good defense. They're playing vicious defense, like playoff, nasty. They're just a tough team. And they just shut out the Avalanche. And they didn't just shut them out like, Bobrovsky made a bunch of good saves. They didn't get a sniff. They are just firing on all cylinders defensively. Is this maybe a letdown spot after a full beating like that? I don't know. They had a couple days off. I think they should be pretty good to go in this game. I would be doing myself a disservice by not taking the Florida Panthers. They're playing full Andy style, the way that I like to play, low scoring games, and they have such skilled players. Just philosophically, I know players love to fill the stat sheet, but man, you can really rack wins because their talent will show. I just hope they enjoy this more than the Cardiac Cats from 2 years ago, where they all had career years and then they got bounced by a more disciplined Lightning team. But I love what they're doing, and I'm going to be taking them against the Pittsburgh Penguins, another great defensive team. So if there's a great defensive team, who can I target on the Penguins to go under on their point prop? I wish we had somebody like Gensel listed at 1.5. One of my favorite things to do, and you saw this last week, is take the under on a 1.5 player when they're facing a great defensive team. It's hard to hit 2 points against teams like Winnipeg or Florida, especially right now. But since that's not available, I'm going to go to the next best thing. The Penguins just signed Jesse Puljujarvi. I think he was just hanging out home in Finland or something like that. They plucked him out of obscurity. He's on their roster. Now he's just on their second line with Evgeny Malkin. And also, Evgeny Malkin has been semi-demoted to their second power play. Something tells me that they're going to rejigger those power plays during the game every single game, which is why we got screwed on that Carlson bet a couple of nights back. But Evgeny Malkin's playing with Riley Smith and Jesse Puljujarvi against a defense that's playing great and a goalie in Bobrovsky that's playing very well. I think it's a good spot to take a crack at an under on Evgeny Malkin. What always scares me the most about him is his ability on the power play, just being fed those one-timers, blasting them, and, just working it around the perimeter. You can get a free point. I talk about the free point on the power play all the time. And if he's going to be off that, at least for some of the power plays, I'm going to take a calculated gamble that Evgeny Malkin's going to go under on his point total. So I will take Evgeny Malkin to not register a point, the under 0.5 point for Malkin. And before I leave this game, I like the Panthers to win. The under on a Malkin point. It's just so hard for me. If I see Crosby and Barkov put their points together and it's in the plus money, it's just so hard for me not to click that. If you do think there are going to be a few goals in this game, I do not mind that whatsoever. Barkov is on that stacked top line. There is no Tkachuk, but Verhaeghe, Reinhart, and Barkov are killing it right now. They are creating chance after chance after chance, and they're all getting points. And I may have just stumbled into another bet that I kind of like, and that would be Verhaeghe and Barkov both to register a point. 2 line mates, that would be at plus money. So that's what I like in that game. Big fan of what Florida is doing at the moment. And then lastly, we got the Arizona Coyotes and the Minnesota Wild. I see this total at 6. I kind of don't know why. These Coyotes games, these last few, have been wild. No pun I hate when people say that. No pun intended. When is the pun ever intended? All I always hear is no pun intended. Well, you know what? Arizona's been getting in some wild games. Pun intended. Yeah, chalk one up for the pun crowd. And also these Minnesota Wild have been scoring some goals. I mean, you know, they cracked my Vegas under the other night. The same way I told you last night, as you get closer to playoffs, teams with these Stanley Cup aspiration, teams hoping to win their division, you're less likely to see teams like that just trade chances back and forth, which is why I don't like taking overs in those games. But two teams who are out of playoff positioning, I think those teams are more likely to get in these wacky games that you've been seeing Arizona get involved in these last couple of days. And this one's listed at 6, not even 6.5. So if you're going to show me that, I'll show you a good time. Give me the over 6 in the Minnesota-Arizona game. And I will take Clayton Keller to register a point. He's started to heat up a little bit once again. I like riding him, especially at home when he's getting the matchups that he likes and he's feeling it. So I'll go over Clayton Keller point. And that's all. That's what I got for you here on Valentine's Day. Just going to stay in and lick my, or, you know, maybe I'll have somebody else do that. All right, I'll be back with you tomorrow. We got a big full slate on Thursday. Happy Valentine's Day. Tell those people close to you, those ladies that you love, or I don't know, whoever the hell else you want to tell that to. Doesn't matter to me. I'll be back with you on Thursday. Take it easy.